Maybe you've already heard of people who became millionaires overnight, lived a life of luxury and extravagance, but lost everything shortly after, returning to poverty. Stories like these are shocking. But what you may not know is that something similar happened, not to a person, but to an entire country. And no, we're not talking about Venezuela. We're talking about Nauru, a tiny island lost in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that was once considered the richest place on Earth. However, poor decisions, greed, and disastrous management turned this paradise into one of the poorest, most vulnerable, and most forgotten countries on the planet. In today's video, we're going to explore this country and uncover how it went from a symbol of wealth and prosperity to a portrait of poverty and decay. Before we begin, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It costs nothing and motivates me to keep bringing you amazing content. 1. Geography. Located in the heart of the Central Pacific Ocean, Nauru is a tiny island surrounded by water in every direction. Its isolated location makes it one of the most remote nations on Earth. To give you an idea, the nearest country is Kiribati, about 300 kilometers, 186 miles, to the east, while Australia, its main economic and political partner, is over 4,000 kilometers, 2,485 miles away. With a total area of only 22 square kilometers, 8.5 square miles, Nauru is the third smallest country in the world, behind only Vatican City and Monaco. It's so small you can drive around the entire island in under 30 minutes. Everything is nearby. Beaches, houses, schools, and government buildings blend into a compact and unique environment. The island's geography includes a narrow, flat coastal ring where most people live. In contrast, the interior has a completely different landscape, a central plateau filled with jagged limestone pinnacles and deep craters, the aftermath of aggressive phosphate mining, which devastated most of the island's fertile land. 2. Population. With just over 10,800 people, Nauru is one of the least populated countries in the world, roughly equivalent to the population of a single neighborhood in a big city. Most residents are native Nauruans, descendants of Austronesian and Micronesian peoples, but there are also small communities of foreign workers, mainly from the Philippines, China, and neighboring Pacific Islands, who came to work in the mines and ended up staying. The population density is high for such a small area. Almost everyone lives along the coast, where basic infrastructure is concentrated, since the interior has become practically uninhabitable due to mining damage. This results in a very tight-knit daily life. Neighbors are always close, families know each other, and the island functions like a large community. The official language is Nauruan, a rare Micronesian language spoken only on the island, making it one of the rarest languages in the world. 3. Wealth. Nauru was once synonymous with prosperity, especially during the 1960s and 1970s. In fact, in 1975, it became the richest country in the world by GDP per capita, all thanks to a single natural resource, phosphate. Phosphate is a valuable mineral formed by the accumulation of bird droppings over thousands of years. It's essential for producing fertilizers, cosmetics, and animal feed. This made Nauru a gold mine, or rather, a white gold mine. Wealth came suddenly and massively, transforming Nauruan life overnight. Healthcare and education became free, and locals enjoyed a standard of living higher than citizens in France, Germany, or Japan. Many Nauruans stopped working and lived solely off royalties from phosphate mining, while foreign workers from the Philippines and China did the hard labor. Luxury became the norm. Modern homes, imported cars, high-end goods, international travel, and bold overseas investments. It was as if this tiny island suddenly had the economic power of a global superpower. 4. Decline. But the very phosphate that made Nauru rich also destroyed the island. Mining at an unsustainable rate devastated the land. Over 80% of the territory was left uninhabitable, transforming a small island into a barren wasteland. The interior was left scarred with craters as deep as 15 meters, 49 feet, and sharp limestone towers, a haunting landscape of destruction. From above, Nauru may look like a paradise surrounded by turquoise waters, but at its heart, it's deeply damaged. Average temperatures rose to around 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and what seemed like an endless source of wealth turned out to be a path to ruin. By the 1990s, phosphate reserves were nearly gone, and without an alternative economy, Nauru collapsed. Luxury vanished as fast as it had appeared. Multi-million-dollar foreign investments were sold off hastily, and the central bank collapsed, symbolizing the fall of a country once called the Millionaire Island. The government tried to reinvent Nauru as a tax haven, but corruption, mismanagement, and international pressure killed the plan. What followed was an economic vacuum that left the population without income, jobs, or hope. What remained was a cruel contrast. A tropical island with white beaches and clear waters, hiding a core of ruins and despair. The living image of a paradise turned into a forgotten wasteland. 5. Basic resources. Life in Nauru means facing daily challenges that most people can't even imagine. First, drinking water. The island has no rivers or lakes, so residents rely almost entirely on desalination plants and rainwater collection. Electricity is unreliable, mostly produced by diesel generators. It's expensive and prone to frequent outages, making life even harder. Internet access is limited and costly. Healthcare and education also suffer from underfunding and a lack of resources. Food is another major issue. With no fertile land left, Nauru can't grow enough fruits or vegetables, and everything must be imported. The result? Sky-high prices. A single cauliflower can cost $12, and a watermelon up to $40. Because of this, most people rely on cheap, ultra-processed foods with low nutritional value, many of which are rejected by Western markets. And it doesn't end there. With few leisure options, social life is limited, and many residents describe daily life as repetitive and demotivating. 6. Health. Nauru holds an unfortunate title. It is the most obese country in the world. About 94% of adults are overweight, and 71% are obese. This is a direct result of economic and environmental collapse. With no ability to grow its own food, Nauru depends almost entirely on imported processed foods. Cheap, high-calorie items like canned meat, low-quality white rice, instant noodles, and sugary drinks, which are far more accessible than fresh produce. Combined with a sedentary lifestyle and lack of recreational activities, this has triggered a health crisis. Type 2 diabetes affects nearly half of the adult population, making it a national health emergency. Heart disease, high blood pressure, and respiratory issues are also widespread, affecting almost every family on the island. Smoking is another major issue, with around 48% of adults being regular smokers, further worsening health outcomes. The result is a dramatically reduced life expectancy, now around 64 years, far below the global average. 7. Economy. After phosphate, Nauru was left directionless. The world's richest country per capita was now searching for survival strategies, some of which were highly controversial. One of the main income sources today is an agreement with Australia. Part of the island hosts a refugee detention center where asylum seekers are held in harsh conditions while their applications are processed. This brought money, but at a heavy price. International human rights groups have reported abuse, poor treatment, and violence, putting Nauru in the global spotlight for the wrong reasons. Another failed attempt in the 1990s was to become a tax haven, with shell banks, fake companies, and money laundering schemes circulating millions. But that system collapsed under international pressure. Corruption, mismanagement, and a tainted reputation scared off investors, leaving behind more debt than benefit. Today, Nauru's economy relies almost entirely on foreign aid and a few temporary agreements. The main one involves selling fishing licenses in its exclusive economic zone to countries like China, Japan, and South Korea. These deals provide some revenue, but aren't enough to support the entire population. 8. Capital. One unique fact about Nauru: it's one of the few countries with no official capital city. Instead of a centralized capital, Nauru's government functions from the district of Yaren, located in the south. It hosts the national parliament, ministries, embassies, like Australia and Taiwan, and the island's only international airport.